Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for joining me this week. So you can see that this week I'm going to be talking about how to give a number talk effectively. So if you're interested in this topic, then please keep on watching. So this week I'm going to be talking about how to effectively give a number talk to your students. And I think it's so important that it is not an individual endeavor with your students, but that there is discussion and collaboration with your students as they're sharing their thinking about the number talk. So I've got a few steps here and a little template that I like to use with my students when I'm giving a number talk to them. So let me just move myself out of the way, make myself a little bit smaller. So step one, okay, a little bit smaller here. Step one, in pairs, you'll be discussing and writing down some methods you used in your head to work out the question posed. And so this is a generic template that you can use with your students of any level, whether it is pre-K up to 12, but obviously if you're working with early years, you would be explaining the instructions rather than giving them this template. Step two is mentally work out the answer and write down the answer here. So you choose a question that you want students to be able to discuss and engage in. And then you ask your students to mentally work it out, but then you are going to ask your students to start discussing their different strategies in pairs. So step three, write down your method here to the left. Can you represent your method in a diagram? And we know the success of the CPA model, or sometimes called the CRA model, which means that we start with concrete, go to representational or pictorial, and then we move into abstract. We know the importance of how that helps students to understand on a conceptual level. So we want to encourage our students to be able to draw a representation or a diagram of their calculations. And then step four, this is the collaborative bit. Explain to your partner how you worked out the answer to this question posed. Write down your partner's method here. So it's about trying to help your students learn other strategies and different strategies that are different to their own. Because a lot of research suggests students that are very successful at mathematics learning are able to draw on a variety of different strategies. Now, after they have shared their strategy, step five is, as a pair, make up another question. So they come up with their own number talk question, but now you use your partner's method to work out the answer in your head. And the last step, six, is think of three other ways that you could work out the answer to your question and explain the methods here. Now, what does this look like in terms of student work? So here is an example of one of my lovely past students, Bhuvan. And this is actually printed in my book. I had permission from his parents to be able to share his wonderful work. And we started off with the number talk 23 times 5. So you can see he's mentally worked that out. And then he's written down his method of how he did it. So he actually multiplied by 10 first and divided by 2. And then here is his pictorial representation. He's drawn like a full circle here. And then he split it up into pieces, 10 pieces, and then divided by 2 to get the answer. Now, his partner's method was slightly different. His partner separated the 23 into 20 and 3 and multiplied each of those numbers by, it looks like, by 5. And then he drew a pictorial representation of his calculation. And then you can see that Bhuvan used his partner's strategy for another question they made up, and then they made up 3 other questions themselves using different strategies. So I really think the important message here in terms of giving an effective number talk is that collaboration, that sharing of different strategies. And you can see it doesn't actually have to be teacher-led. So the teacher doesn't have to be standing up the front, taking the students through the different steps. You can have the prompts and the different steps on a template, and pairs of students work through that template together. So I hope you found this useful. If you have any wonderful ideas about how to give number talks to your students, I would love to hear them. Please put it in the comment section below. Thank you so much for joining me again this week, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.